came seemingly out of nowhere. Nearly 2,800 feet above sea level and hours from the nearest city of consequence, a group of approximately 4 dozen camera-wielding tourists of random nationalities spun on their heels and began to snap pictures of, well, us. The fact that we arrived at this Norwegian mountaintop overlooking a fleet of candy-hued 2016 Bentley Continental GT coupes may have contributed to their elation. Although we in the press are known for our handsome profiles and chiseled physiques, it's hard to compete with the international language of horsepower, not to mention flawless paintwork and Bentley's stately Big B logo. While the attention was not entirely unexpected, that the tourists so hastily turned their backs on a glorious display of Mother Nature's finest glacial carvings for a photo op with a car speaks volumes. Nobody was jockeying for prime photoreal estate around the Ford Kuga parked next to us. Norwegian woods. Our day began a few hours earlier near Elation, a heavily forested community positioned on a rocky precipice typical of western Norway. Given the seemingly glacial pace at which changes come to the Continental GT, it was a fitting locale to debut the latest round of updates. A new front bumper with a revised lower mesh pair with a slightly smaller radiator surround and new, more pronounced fenders for what Bentley calls a more assertive stance. While we agree, it's of our opinion that the effect looks most at home when paired with the more extroverted colors, like the Monaco yellow on the V8s pictured here, than with colors selected from the traditional Bentley palette. That said, Bentley would like to remind you that it will gladly color match any shade known to the human eye. Chrome fender badges, as previously seen only on the GT Speed, now appear on the fenders of the V8s and W12 as cosmetic enhancements. The rear of the car gets largely the same treatment, the reshaped bumper getting a full-length strip of brightwork, and the composite eclid has been reshaped with a slightly more pronounced profile to the trailing edge. To help keep the pecking order sorted, the V8s and the GT Speed get a different rear diffuser treatment. Some new wheel choices arrive for 2016, including the 21-inch 5-spoke directional alloys found on the GT Speed we drove. Although the interior has also been subjected to a round of minor updates, a revised stitching pattern in the seats, LED illumination, new dials and graphics on the instrument panel, larger gear shift paddles, and additional USB ports, all standard, you shouldn't be surprised to learn that it remains true to its basic men's glue broom ideals. Leather abounds, punctuated by bits of chrome and either carbon fiber or wood, and the control layout is unchanged. A sportier steering wheel comes aboard as an option, as does onboard Wi-Fi connectivity for $1,330. Mulliner driving specification brings a unique, small diamond quilting pattern to the seats, and the GTW12 and GT Speed models can be outfitted with super soft semi-aniline leather for the princely sum of $3,200. How, exactly, Bentley determines which cows are the softest remains a trade secret. From the midnight sun where the hot springs blow, for the first portion of the drive, we selected a Continental GT Speed cloaked in a dark hue known as Spectre. Whether Bentley chose the name as an official reference to Ian Fleming's supervillain Ernst Stavro Blofeld is up for debate, but it certainly plays the part well. What we can confirm, however, is that the torque swell from the 626 horsepower twin-turbo 6.0-litre W12 remains as alluring as ever. All 607 lb-ft of torque on duty at 2000 revolutions per minute. Permanent all-wheel drive performs discreetly in the background, doling out torque as needed, normally split 4060 front-rear, variable from 1585 to 6535 as conditions dictate. The resultant acceleration belies the GT Speed's 5,100-pound curb weight, with 60 miles per hour arriving in a claimed 4.0 seconds. Additional factory performance figures have 100 miles per hour passing in a claimed 9.0 seconds and a top speed of 206 miles per hour from the long, linear travel of the accelerator we like. And the softish brake pedal don't like so much, to the speed-sensitive electric power steering like well enough and damped but precise movement of the shift pedals. Sure, why not? The controls move as if they are mounted with bushings made of equal parts folding cash, beluga caviar, and human tissue extracted from Barry White's larynx. At the conclusion of the impromptu mountaintop photo session, we slipped into the yellow GT V8S. Equipped with Bentley's extended sports specification kit, $19,180. Yes, really, our car had the carbon ceramic 8-piston front brakes, sports exhaust, and carbon fiber interior bits, making it the best choice for the rundown Norway's infamous Trollstigen mountain road, a ribbon of single-lane pavement carved out of the side of a cliff. Mistakes made here could have grave consequences. Although the twin-turbo 4.0-litre V8 produces only 521 horsepower, all 502 lb-ft of torque are available at a low 1,700 revolutions per minute, which helped to give the 8-speed ZF automatic gearbox a breather during the twisty descent. Short straight shoots were acknowledged with blasts of the throttle, followed by braking hard for corners and then downshifting. The transmission will let you skip gears downshifting, to coast against engine back pressure and elicit some joyous cacophony from the tailpipes. Down a quartet of cylinders, the V8S gives up only 3/10, Bentley says, to the W12 speed in the 0 to 60 measure, clocking in at 4.3 seconds. 0 to 100 miles per hour is a different story. The V8S taking 10.3 seconds to do what the W12 Power GT can do in just 9.0 seconds again, factory figures. Although said to be lighter over the front wheels by only 57 pounds, the V8S had the best steering feel and response. The air suspension does a fair job of keeping the body on an even keel while simultaneously isolating the harshest wheel impacts. You'll never forget that it's a big car. That it handles as well as it does is a testament to dogged engineering persistence. With a base price of $214,425, our Continental GT V8S swore $44,020 in options: extended paint, $5,715, yellow stitching, $1,980, Fox leather headliner, $1,200. Name for Bentley audio, $7,595, and many, many more. Final tally? A cool $258,445. This bird has flown. The biggest news in Continental GT land can be found under the hood of the most pedestrian 12-cylinder. Seeking improvements in fuel economy and emissions, Bentley has added cylinder deactivation to the twin-turbo W12. The V8 has had it for years. The W12 in GT Speed Gym doesn't get cylinder deactivation. According to Bentley, the Continental GT W12 notches a 5% improvement in combined fuel economy, although the EPA combined rating of 15 miles per gallon is the exact same figure earned by the previous W12. But emissions were reportedly reduced. Best of all, adding cylinder deactivation required remapping of the ECU. And in the process Bentley harvested an additional 15 horsepower and 15 lb-ft of torque, which now stand at 582 and 531, respectively. As you might expect, spending time with the GT-W12 after driving the previous two cars was less than a revelatory experience. The heft, the interior tranquility, the impeccable fit and finish were all present in spades. The variable displacement system went about its business without drama or inopportune hiccups, and if our handlers hadn't informed us about it we likely would never have noticed its presence. While all of these cars handle well, the word crisp is nowhere in their vocabulary, and Bentley remains emphatic that the Continental GT is a true Grand Tourer and not a sports car. But for those who desire a large coupe with classic styling, a coddling interior, and speed to spare, the Bentley remains happy to oblige.